27,000 trees were cut down every day just for toilet paper. And so, because of that, I wanted to buy more sustainably just for my own family. So, I started buying different brands at Safeway and Whole Foods and direct from, retailers. And it was my teenagers that made me see that there could be a better way because every brand I brought back, teenagers don't hold back on their feedback.
You're listening to Talk Commerce. Subscribe and download at talk-commerce.com.
Welcome to this episode of Talk Commerce. Today I have Joslyn Faust. She is the founder of Hey Bamboo. Jocelyn, go ahead, do an introduction for yourself. Tell us your day-to-day role and what's exciting in business for you right now.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, Brent. So I am Jocelyn. Not only am I a founder of Hey Bamboo, which is a sustainable bamboo paper products company, but I'm also a mom. So I'm a teen mom, I'm a pet mom, I'm a wife. I was in technology marketing for many, many years. And no, I did not have a goal of being a toilet paper czar, but I love it. And I'm very excited that we just launched into Amazon and doing really well. Apparently, people buy toilet paper and paper towels on Amazon. So really happy to be on there.
All right. And so, Jocelyn, before we get started, you have volunteered to be part of the Free Joke Project. All you have to do is give me a rating 8 through 13. And I have a very special joke for you today. So here we go. Why did the toilet paper roll down the hill? To get to the bottom.
I really like that.
Oh, all right.
I would give that a 13 because we would totally put that somewhere on our site.
Good. I was a little worried. I was a little worried that was going towards potty humor, but it really was going towards potty humor.
It was, but not as tacky as a lot of other ones I've heard. So
yeah, okay, good. Yeah. All right, so Jocelyn, give us a little bit about your background. You said you were in marketing before, and tell us what led you to founding Hey Bamboo.
Yes. So I, really was in B2B and actually a bunch of SaaS companies for many years. And it really was during the pandemic. I was working full time at the time. But if you all remember, during the pandemic, everyone was talking about toilet paper. So, as a mom, not only could I not get the brand that we've bought every week forever, but suddenly there was a lot of news about toilet paper and some of it was shocking and I'd never heard of it before, such as, 27,000 trees were cut down every day just for toilet paper. And so because of that, I wanted to buy more sustainably just for my own family. So I started buying different brands at Safeway and Whole Foods and direct from, retailers. And it was my teenagers that made me see that there could be a better way because every brand I brought back, teenagers don't hold back on their feedback. So they would say things like, what's up with this one-ply toilet paper? Why is it so rough? Like, this roll is so tiny. And so all of their feedback, and even like, wait, is this supposed to be sustainable toilet paper? Why is it wrapped in plastic? Just all of these things I just didn't really think about. And it made me realize that for something that has such a big impact that we all use all the time, there should just be a brand and that feels good and that you really want to use. And so that was kind of the genesis of Hey Bamboo.
Yeah, I think people don't people think about the sustainability of toilet paper, but you mentioned just the wrapping. Well, so we get our toilet paper at Costco and it is in big packs, but it's also wrapped in a big package. And then each package is wrapped again. So talk about how you've gotten over the wrap part of things.
Exactly. So, when I started to take a look at this product and this industry, I dug into my research background. I also have a background in research. And so I was thinking to myself, what would make a really great sustainable toilet paper? And for me, it wasn't just the product itself, which we really did focus on. I wanted to make sure that it was, comfortable. It was a nice big roll and also unbleached, because why do we need bleached toilet paper? But there is a lot of packaging involved and even the logistics involved in it. So on our direct to consumer packages, it's zero waste. So it's wrapped in a thin paper wrap that is recyclable or compostable, depending on where you are. We have soy based inks so that it definitely can be recycled. On our retail packaging, which is brand new, it's also actually wrapped in bamboo. So every one of our rolls, from toilet paper to paper towels, have a bamboo core. But our retail packaging is like the whole package is completely bamboo, which I think is really cool. So it is a very, intentional way to take a look at the product. So it's not just, what's inside that you're actually using, but the entire thing.
So you've entered a market that has it won't ever stop unless everybody. Well, I suppose there's reasons why people would stop using it, but I'm assuming it's a growing market. What led you to kind of break into this market that's kind of dominated by some of these bigger players?
Well, because of this idea that most of the brands that are sustainable, which a lot more and more people are trying to buy sustainable. But at the same time, I know that my family and probably a lot of other families and people out there don't really want to give up the quality that they're used to. So and when I talk with people that have been using sustainable brands for a really long time, this really resonates with them, particularly those that have been using recycled paper, toilet paper, because that is, it's known as being very rough. And, you use it because you really want to do well for the environment, and that's great. But for a lot of other people, they're just not willing to give up soft and thick and strong toilet paper for that.
And was it an interesting? So you're in marketing, I guess, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners are curious into the journey you took in finding, not to get graphic, but the journey you took into finding what works and how, like, the whole market research part of it.
Exactly.
How was that? I mean, it had to be super interesting, but was there challenges that you had in that?
Well, initially I was approaching it as if most of our customers didn't know that much about bamboo toilet paper. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't realize that bamboo toilet paper is a thing. But what I realized was the people that really got what we are doing and really wanted to try us were people that know and love sustainable products. And so they have been using either bamboo products or recycled paper products for a really long time, and they're looking for an alternative. They're looking to upgrade what they've been using now. So, initially, and we're still going through a rebrand actually right now, but initially all of our messaging was about, can you believe 27,000 trees are cut down every day? Can you believe, like, all of these things? And maybe, there was an element of fear around it because, that is part of the sustainability industry. But I realized that what resonates with particularly our market is just a focus on how it feels, the quality, the value you get because it's such a large roll and it's thick. All of those things are much more interesting to our market because they've bought into sustainability. Like, I don't really need to sell them on that. They're just looking for a better product in that market.
And you mentioned now you're going to be going into different channels. What sort of channels have you seen that are going to be growth areas, and even how does the social media aspect or social purchasing aspect go into what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the social angle is super important because what we're trying to sell is a feel. And it's really hard to communicate that in words. So it's these references of people that have it in front of them, that are using it, that are telling other people that, this is what I've used before, and this is why Hey Bamboo is so great for me. Those messages make a big difference. So I think the social, and we have an affiliate program, which is, doing well. But I think, I started off as just a Shopify site. I did a little bit in TikTok Shop, and we haven't actually seen a lot of growth in TikTok Shop so far. People are not buying toilet paper on TikTok Shop. But Amazon, we just got in there early November, and it's really taken off. But I think these days it's all about omni-channel. So they might see somebody talking about it on TikTok or Instagram. Um, they'll take a look at our site to see what we're up to, and then they'll actually buy on Amazon because that's what they like to do. So it's almost harder for entrepreneurs these days because it just seems like you have to be everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. Um, talk about moving into a new product. So you're moving into paper towels as well, which makes perfect sense. And is that market even more saturated than the toilet paper market?
Actually, I don't think so. I think that toilet paper is still our marquee product, and it just gets a lot more interest. But there are other bamboo paper towel products out there. But I think ours is just so different. I literally got one of my favorite traditional brands, and I sent it to my supplier, and I said, I really love how thick this is, the size of the sheets. Are we able to develop something like this, but in bamboo? So, zero waste, no bleach, strong, but feels like this. And we were able to develop it. So I think it's a great product.
Do you think the traditional model of how toilet paper is made is just because bamboo wasn't readily available at the time that toilet paper was invented? And I guess why aren't people, it makes sense to use it since it grows so fast, right? And or maybe give us some background of why bamboo makes so much sense.
Yeah. I mean, and so both of those things you brought up, but bamboo can grow up to 3 feet a day, which is amazing. You can literally watch it grow. When you're ready to cut it, which is after it's mature in about 45 days, so it's not that long. You just cut it like grass. It is a grass. It's not a tree. You cut it, and just like your grass, it keeps on growing. So there's no replanting involved. You're not disrupting any ecosystems out there. There's over 1,000 varieties of bamboo. So, depending on what you're looking to do, there's a specific variety for that. And then when I was going into paper towels, I realized that bamboo is actually stronger than steel, so definitely stronger than wood, and much more absorbent than wood as well. So it just makes an ideal paper towel as well. The only thing is the variety that is great for paper, or these tissue products, is not widely grown or really cultivated in the US. So it grows really well in Asia because it loves hot, humid climates. And it really does like, natural forests. So that where we get our bamboo is literally a forest. And so because it's a forest, there's no big machines that go in to cultivate it. It's these individual people with like kind of machetes, and they chop off the one stalk that is mature, and then they look around in their little area for the mature stalk. So it could be an intensive process. And so, that affects where it's grown and where it's cultivated. And so my hope is that as things progress in the US, we figure out how to grow bamboo really well here. I think that, there's so many things that you can make with bamboo. All of the things that you can make with wood, basically, you can make with bamboo. And I can't remember what the first question was. What was the first question?
We I talked about that bamboo is sustainable and wise is sustainable, which
Okay.
I think you answered. So I'm in Hawaii, which is a great place for bamboo, but I
Oh,
could
yeah.
think on the U.S. mainland that maybe the South would be a good place to start cultivating bamboo and encouraging the growth. And does it take a lot of water? I'm curious on some of
No,
those things.
it's actually it's something like 30% less water during the manufacturing process. One of the big hurdles to making, not only is it, not cultivated the same way, but the manufacturing process. So, for any tissue, like, wood tissue, these big, huge machines develop it, so they create the pulp and then they put it in big sheets. And so for bamboo, those machines are different. So it's a really big investment for companies to, if they've been doing traditional wood, to decide to get into bamboo. I even, spoke at a conference called Tissue World. So some of the largest manufacturers, and that was a big question for them, is like all these alternative fibers, like when is a good time to get into it, because it is a very big investment for them. So, I mean, I think it's going to come. I think that demand for better sustainable products is out there. And I think that bamboo really is kind of a great way for us to still have a lot of the products that we like, but in a much more sustainable, renewable way. So I think it's just early.
And what are you excited about next? So you have toilet paper, paper towels. What is next? Do you have a ideal list of things that you're developing?
Yeah. So next up, from a product perspective, is facial tissues. Um, so, actually, everybody asks all the time, when are you going to have facial tissues? So that is going to be next. And then we're also talking to a few retailers. And so hopefully that will be next as well, is Hey Bamboo being able to be purchased at a store, which I think a lot of people would enjoy.
Yeah, so we'd go to Costco, or not, maybe not. We'd go to a big retailer and
Yes.
find the brand in there, right? I mean, is there a lot of competition in the space already, or are you sort of a trailblazer into what's happening?
I mean, I like to think that we're a trailblazer in our product, but there are other brands out there for sure. Especially, I think Hey Bamboo makes a lot of sense in like natural grocers, and even big ones like Sprouts and Whole Foods. But there are other products out there. But I did speak with a major buyer, and he was saying that they were actively looking for a product in the category that feels better, because that's what customers have been asking them. So I think that we have a good shot, but I know these things take a long time.
Yeah, and I think one thing I learned last year, just talking to a sustainable, or a person that does sort of chamois based paper towel, not paper, whatever. They're paper towels, but they're chamois based. Is
Yeah.
that the big retailers didn't know how to position them? Like,
Mm,
should they be in the automotive section? That's where chamois are. Should they be in paper towels because they are reusable?
right.
Um, I think, I guess for toilet paper, it's pretty straightforward. They should go into toilet paper. But I think as you grow into different areas, you could venture away from the traditional places where people would find those, or do you think it's always going to be a certain category that the big brands are going to put you in?
You know what? I think, for the products that we're producing right now and we have in the pipeline, it'll probably be in those categories. So toilet paper, paper towels, and facial tissues. And I do think that we'll probably end up staying in, natural grocers for a while, because that's what they're looking for. So they are actively looking for sustainable products. And ours, we just like to think that ours is an upgrade to what they have already.
From an e-commerce standpoint, what are you excited about this year? Do you have, from a technology or from just a marketing standpoint, is there anything exciting that you're doing that you think is going to make an impact on your business?
I do. So, when we realized early on that our customers are, they're not unfamiliar with sustainable products. They actually, they buy sustainable. They think wellness is super important, and they're already buying sustainable. But this is, something that they might be looking for because they might not be satisfied with what they have. We realized that digging into this, the natural aspect, the fact that we're unbleached, and so we have this like, light brown color, um, is also meaningful to people. And digging into that even deeper, from a rebrand perspective, we're just going to do a lot with that. So I live in, Northern California, and there's just, surrounded by beauty, from a nature perspective. And I think a lot of people are too, in Hawaii, obviously you are as well. And so we like to take inspiration from nature. And so our packaging will also, have photos of nature on it as well.
That's great. I think that people don't realize that. I mean, maybe people know that toilet paper is bleached Is it just for the aesthetics that they do it, and because it's always been done that way since whenever toilet paper was invented?
Yeah, so a couple things. So wood pulp, it actually, bleach is also a chemical, so it does make it softer. So it helps on that aspect. But on a cultural perspective as well, if you go to other countries, they might have unbleached paper. But the unbleached paper is, for people who can't afford the bleached one. And also, you've probably, at some point in your life, had unbleached wood pulp toilet paper, and it does have, it is everything that you thought it would be, like rough, uncomfortable. It doesn't flush very well, all of that stuff. So there is a little bit of that. It's like, people might see it and think back to, oh, the last time I saw unbleached toilet paper, it wasn't a good experience. So just kind of getting over that. But I think that it's not necessary. Especially in bamboo. Bamboo is already soft and comfortable. So if it's not necessary, then why add it in?
Is there a benefit to the water treatment facilities for bamboo compared to traditional paper? Does it go through better, or is it about the same?
We did some testing on it, and bamboo actually breaks down a lot quicker than wood pulp, because it is grass. And so if you do like a mason jar test, which you can all do at home, just put a few sheets, 4 sheets in with a little bit of water and shake it up for, 6 seconds, 10 seconds, and see how it looks like. You'll see that bamboo, just like Hey Bamboo, is going to be really broken down. But you'll see, the traditional toilet paper, they'll still be like big chunks. So it does break down quicker. And I think that's a benefit to septic systems as well.
The name Hey Bamboo, was that your invention? And how did it come about?
It was. We tried a bunch of different names. We wanted it to be conversational and friendly, but also have the word bamboo in it, because the whole aspect of it being bamboo is really important. So I think that it hit all of the boxes that we were looking for, and it was available online.
That's great. Jocelyn, we are rapidly running out of time, but as I close out the podcast, I give everybody a chance to do a shameless plug about anything they like. What would you like to plug today?
You know what? I did not figure out what I wanted to plug. Oh, okay. This is totally random. But I have a cat. I have a dog as well, but I have a cat, and she has this perch that we have sticking on suction cups that looks outside. And it is the best perch that we've ever had. It looks amazing. It's comfortable for her. And every time I pass by, I'm like, I should have just sold perches, because that gives the cat in us so much pleasure.
That's great. Can you tell us the brand of the perch?
It is. It's Tuft and Paw.
All right.
So great perches.
And does your dog get up on it too?
He doesn't, no, but he has enough things. He doesn't need extra toys.
Okay. Yeah, we have a Jack Russell here who could use a cat perch. They can jump that high, but he does
Our
a lot
dog
of just...
can jump that high too. And he thinks he's a cat, so.
Right. Joslyn Faust, the founder of Hey Bamboo, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks so much. It was great talking to you.
Talk Commerce is a production of Content Basis, LLC. For more creative content, go to contentbasis.io.